Hi guys, so today I want to talk to you about dehydrated skin. So you know how sometimes your skin just feels a little bit tight and uncomfortable, it doesn't quite have that bounce or that glow to it that you're used to, and it just kind of doesn't feel like it's doing the right things? Your skin could be dehydrated. Now, dehydrated skin is actually not the same thing as dry skin. Dry skin is actually a skin type, and it just means that naturally your skin doesn't produce a lot of oil. Oily skin is another skin type, and those types of skin, like mine, sometimes produce too much oil. Now, dehydrated skin, on the other hand, is a whole different thing because it's not a skin type, it's actually a skin condition, which means it's caused by external factors, either your environment or something that you are doing or not doing that's causing your skin to dry out. Dry skin is skin that doesn't have enough oil content in it, whereas dehydrated skin doesn't have enough water in it. So some of the symptoms of dehydrated skin are like if you touch your skin and it feels kind of sensitive, it feels like it's irritated when you touch it, it burns a little bit. When you look in the mirror and you're seeing maybe more lines and texture than you're used to. Also, if after you cleanse your face, your skin feels really dry and tight, those are all symptoms of dehydrated skin. So our skin actually loses water naturally throughout the day. So there's a process called TEWL, which stands for like transepidermal water loss. And that's just the process of water that naturally evaporates from your skin during normal activities. So when you're outside and sweating, or when you're asleep, or when you're walking around, you're constantly losing water. And that's fine, that's not normally a problem. The problem comes when we are losing more water than we're putting back into our skin. So that can happen for a few different reasons. If you happen to live in a dry climate, there's just not enough water in the air to compensate for the water that you're losing naturally. So for those of us in more humid climates, we're losing moisture from our skin, but we're also gaining moisture back through the process of just being in a humid environment. If you live in a drier environment and you're noticing that your skin is dehydrated, one of the things you can look into is running a humidifier at night, and that'll help put some of that moisture in that you're not getting throughout the day. It also could be that you are just not drinking enough water. So you may know that your skin is an organ. That's the largest organ that we have. But it's also the last organ to get water. So when we're drinking water throughout the day, our internal organs get first dibs, and what's kind of left over goes to our skin. So if you're not drinking enough water, even if your internal organs are getting the water that they need, your skin might not be getting the water that it needs to look plump and healthy and juicy. Now, lastly, another big cause of dehydrated skin is a damaged moisture barrier. So your skin has several different levels, and your topmost level of skin is called your moisture barrier. And it's basically composed of like skin cells that are held together by fatty acids, ceramides, and some other stuff. And when those fatty acids or ceramides break down, they can't cause the protective layer that they're supposed to cause, and that lets the water evaporate out of your skin right into the environment. So keeping that moisture barrier healthy is so important to keeping water in your skin. Unfortunately, it's very easy to damage that moisture barrier. So one of the biggest ways people damage their moisture barrier without even knowing it is using the wrong kind of cleanser. So your skin actually is acidic. Your skin has a pH naturally of around 4.5 to like roughly 6, a little bit less than that usually. 4.5 to 5.5 is kind of ideal. A lot of foaming cleansers have a really high pH, which means that when you put them on your skin, it actually makes your skin less acidic than it's supposed to be. So why is that a problem? It's a problem because the acidity of your skin is what keeps your skin able to fight infection and to kill off bacteria. So when your moisture barrier and your acid mantle become damaged by using a cleanser whose pH is too high, your skin can't fight off all those infections as easily, and that's when you start to notice more irritation. You might notice acne, you might notice closed comedones. Some people even get yeast infections on their skin. Those are all symptoms of a damaged moisture barrier. Another common issue is overexfoliation. So both physical and chemical exfoliation, basically it's going to scrape off the dead cells and force newer cells to the surface, right? But if your skin isn't able to produce those cells fast enough, you're actually doing yourself a disservice because now you are eliminating skin cells without having the proper skin cells underneath to take their place. place. So over-exfoliation can cause the same kinds of problems as using the wrong kind of cleanser, and it's going to give you the same kinds of results. So if you are using an alpha hydroxy, for example, or beta hydroxy, or even if you're just using your Clarisonic and you're noticing that your skin is looking irritated, if it starts to get shiny looking, that is a classic telltale sign that you are over exfoliating. So put those exfoliants away for a week, 2 weeks, until your skin starts to lose some of that bald man looking shininess that doesn't look attractive and is not a good sign. Put those away until your skin is able to heal itself. And then lastly, sun damage can cause a compromised moisture barrier. Both sunburns and just the constant damage that our skin gets from the sun every day when we don't wear our sunscreen. So by getting burned, that's a very direct and immediate compromise of the moisture barrier, but damage from the sun over time will cause a moisture barrier that breaks down in the long term. You may not notice any short-term effects from not wearing your sunscreen, but in the end, those cumulative effects will catch up to you. One of the things that's really interesting about dehydrated skin is that it can actually cause your skin to produce more oil. So a lot of people who have dehydrated skin will notice that their skin has all of a sudden become oily in places that it normally isn't. And the reason that happens is because your skin overcompensates for that loss of water by producing more sebum. Sebum is the oil that our skin produces naturally. Now, oil is necessary to our skin because it helps seal in moisture. So you might remember from like high school chemistry that water and oil don't mix. And if you've got a layer of oil on top of that water, it's going to be harder for the water to evaporate out of the skin. And so when your skin is noticing, oh my gosh, I'm dehydrated, I need to keep hold of all the water that I do have, it's going to produce more oil to seal that water in. So if you are already an oily skin type, that extra production of oil can really make you look like a grease slick. So if you're noticing this, and if it's something that's unusual for you, if you don't typically have oily skin, it could be that you have a compromised moisture barrier, and that is what is causing that increased sebum production. So luckily, you can fix your moisture barrier once it's been compromised. It does not happen overnight. You need to give yourself at least 2 weeks, usually more around 4 weeks to really see improvement. But the number one thing you can start doing immediately is just drinking more water. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that the ingredients in your products are full of humectants. So humectants are chemicals that actually attract water to itself. It's going to pull moisture out of the air into itself. And so when you put those humectants on your skin, it's actually going to pull moisture from the air into your skin. Now, some people have reported that humectants actually dry them out. And I think that those people typically live in drier environments, and so they don't have the moisture in the air available to them. And so the humectants actually pull the moisture out of the skin into itself. So if you are experiencing something like that, you could try running your humidifier at night and using your humectants in the evening. You can also try using your humectants in the shower. Some of the most common humectants that you're going to find in all kinds of different beauty products are glycerin, sodium hyaluronate, and hyaluronic acid. Those are the three that we see the most common in skincare ingredients. So if you see those listed near the top of your ingredient list when you're looking at a lotion or a serum, you can be pretty sure that those are going to do really well at attracting moisture into your skin. So once that moisture is in your skin, you want to make sure that it doesn't evaporate. And so that's where occlusives come in. And occlusives actually are oils that sit on top of your skin and prevent water from evaporating. One of the best occlusives you can use is Vaseline. And I know that sounds really gross, and so you probably wouldn't use it during the day, but at night, after you've done your evening beauty routine and you have added that hydration back into your skin, you can seal it in with Vaseline. Another good one is Aquifer. But if you don't like those or just prefer to use something else, if you look at your lotions, your creams, and your moisturizers that have an opaque sort of texture to them, that opacity is usually caused by some kind of occlusive. So if you are somebody who has oily skin and you're looking in your beauty cabinet and you're thinking, gosh, all of my lotions, yeah, they are kind of white and opaque, those are going to have occlusives in them, and so you may want to be more sparing with those. Those of you who have oily skin may want to look into, for example, the gel moisturizers, because they tend to have fewer occlusives, and that's going to lessen the look of grease on your skin. But if you don't have that problem, if you're already naturally dry, or maybe you just have normal skin, looking for those occlusives in your lotion, moisturizers, and creams could be really beneficial to you. Okay, so if you do have a damaged moisture barrier and you're like, yep, I really need to start working on this, there are a couple of things you can do to help it start to heal. Make sure that you're using the right cleanser. You want to look for cleansers that have a pH of 6 or less. if it's not listed on the website or anything like that, you can usually Google for it, and beauty gurus out there will let you know what the pH is of your favorite product. But you can also buy pH strips from Amazon and you can test your products that way. The products that I use are the CeraVe Foaming Cleanser. The reason I love that is because it's inexpensive. You can get it just about anywhere, and it also has ceramides and hyaluronic acid in it, so it's going to do a lot to repair that moisture barrier. I also really like the CosRx Low pH Cleanser. It's not too expensive either. A lot of people don't like low pH cleansers because they don't tend to foam up as much as high pH cleansers. So if you're somebody who really loves getting that foam all over your skin, you probably just need to break yourself of that habit, because a lot of the lower pH cleansers just don't have that ability. So the foam is fun, but it can be bad for your skin. So just make sure that you're using a cleanser that's going to keep your skin's pH where it should be. Another thing you can do to keep that acidity of your skin is actually add an acid toner to your routine. So an acid toner is different from a hydrating toner, because a hydrating toner's primary purpose, of course, is to put those humectants on your skin and get moisture into your skin, whereas the acid toner is primarily to balance your skin's pH. So if you are using a cleanser whose pH is too high, or you just feel like you could use a little bit more acidity in your life, an acid toner can be an inexpensive and easy way to get that acidity. And they don't have to be stinging and burning. You do hear about acid toners and people are like, I can tell it's working because it burns. That's nonsense. You don't have to have a burning, uncomfortable feeling to get your skin to where it needs to be. The Pixi Glow Tonic does not burn, and it is an acid toner that works really well. And then the last thing you could be looking at to improve your moisture barrier is to add fatty acids in the form of plant oils and ceramides back into your skin. So plant oils like argan oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, rosehip oil, those are all going to have the fatty acids that your skin needs to keep those bonds intact and keep your moisture barrier functioning the right way. Ceramides are another ingredient in your skin that your skin has naturally that can break down. And so when you use a topical ceramide, your skin actually can absorb that, and it does start to repair that moisture barrier. The ceramide that I really like to use is the Dr. Jart Ceramidin liquid. I get this from Sephora. You can also get it on Amazon. It's got a wonderful serum-like texture. So when you use it, it's not gonna make you feel super greasy. But you can also get ceramides in the form of lotions and creams. So if you have a drier skin type, that's something else that you can look into. All right, so I think that about wraps it up for Dehydrated Skin today. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks a lot, bye.